extraordinary life with true direction and purpose every day. Intentional Living with KLBK's Terry Furman. Sponsored by Sanders Funeral Home.
As we remember the attacks of 9/11 for another anniversary, we remember all those we lost. But for more than 2 decades, tens of thousands of responders are dealing with chronic health issues after their exposure to that toxic dust and debris after the September 11th terror attacks. In this week's Intentional Living, we take a look at the research that is looking at other long-term impacts on these patients, including COVID-19. Michael Golub spent 11 months at Ground Zero, first as a volunteer with his fire department. Later, the company he worked for was contracted by the city.
I was responsible for the medical care for everybody that was on the site.
Within a week or so, he couldn't stop coughing.
I had that for years until I started coming here and getting the proper medication.
This is the Stony Brook World Trade Center Wellness Program. Thousands of responders are seen with conditions such as obstructive airway disease, asthma, cancer, PTSD, and depression.
This gives rise to a variety of susceptibility and vulnerability to being able to deal with other diseases or infections.
Program Director Dr. Benjamin Luff's latest research looks at nearly 1,300 responders who had COVID-19. Data shows patients with 9/11-related chronic conditions are more likely to have more severe infection and suffer with long-term COVID symptoms, such as shortness of breath and brain fog.
Now that we've been able to follow these patients for as long as a year, we find about 15% of our patients continue to have problems with long COVID.
Another recent study suggests responders with PTSD could be affected by a specific form of dementia. Michael encourages responders to be monitored and get treatment.
The first few years before the program, I used to tell people when I die, put 9/11. I don't think that anymore.
And he's grateful he's still here with his family.
Terry, thank you. Up next, sports.